Well, this here is the Ford Freestyle, and essentially it's the Figo which went to the gym and made some muscles and came back with a lot of attitude, and it takes on the likes of the Hyundai Active i20 as well as the Honda WRV. So is this car worth a second look, and is it a car that you should check out in Ford dealerships near you? We'll find out on the show today. If you're planning to sell your old car first before planning to buy this one, then you should consider Cars24. Visit any of their 50 branches across India and sell your car at the best price. Not only that, Cars24 will instantly transfer the money into your bank account and will also take care of all the paperwork, including the RC transfer. So do check out Cars24 today. Well, every time you step inside the Freestyle, you'll truly appreciate the solid build quality on this car, and the doors really do shut with a very authoritative thud, and they have a solid sense of confidence about themselves, and you do feel like you're sitting inside a very safe car along with your entire family. What you will also appreciate is this fantastic touchscreen system over here. It's a new touchscreen system on this car, on the Freestyle, and this will also make its way onto the Figo and other models in the Ford range, but it is by far the easiest and the best system on any car at this price point. It's ahead of all its rivals, including Hyundai as well as Maruti, in terms of ease of operation as well as the look and feel. What you'll also appreciate is the fact that this is a very safe car. You get 6 airbags as standard on the top of the line version, and 2 airbags as well as ABS is standard across the range, so that's something that you will truly appreciate. But what might split opinion is the fact that the dashboard here is finished in a dark chocolatey brown color, and that's something that some buyers might like and some buyers might not like. To be honest, it really does depend on your personal preferences. To me, it looks quite okay and does make this car stand out from a sea of other compact crossovers. Well, in terms of quality, the quality definitely is ahead of the regular Figo hatchback, and the top of the door pad as well as the top of the dashboard really does have a nice and solid feel to it. Even the smaller switches over here definitely are a marked improvement over the earlier version of the Figo hatchback, and the seats are quite okay in terms of comfort, and the support for the low back also is good. You do get these small side bolsters in the side, so overall the seats are quite good. In terms of utility places, you'll truly appreciate this car because, as you know, I am obsessed with water bottles, and this car has a total of 9 water bottle holders over here in the front. There are 3 in the door bins and 3 here in the middle on the center console. It is a fantastic place if you are, of course, going for that long highway trip. Well, if you've ever been inside the regular Figo, then you will of course appreciate the new room over here at the back, because this car is based on that car. There's plenty of place below the front seats to stretch your feet, because the front seats have been raised up quite a bit, and headroom also is more than sufficient for someone who is my height, which for reference is about 5'10". So people who are about 6'2" or 6'3" should be quite okay in these seats, because there's ample headroom. Now the seats in themselves are quite okay in terms of comfort. The support for the lower back is good. The backrest angle also is pretty good, and the seat scob is pretty wide, so you get ample support for your under thighs, and the hip as well as knee angle also is nice. Now remember, these seats are pretty high set, which means that you can easily slide into them and walk out of this car. You don't have to really crouch or get into those weird positions to enter this car. You can simply walk into it, so that's also something that people will appreciate. One thing which people might not truly appreciate is the fixed headrest. You can't move them up or down, so that's something which is a bit of a retrograde step from Ford, and something that they should fix on this car, because if you really want to go to sleep or want to rest, you'll have to move down a bit, slouch around a bit, and then rest your head over here. So that's something that some buyers will not take kindly to. Well, so practicality is further aided by this massive and generous boot. Now the boot on the Figo has always been pretty good, and it's no different on the Freestyle. It's a nice and spacious boot. It's a wide boot as well. There is a bit of a loading lip, but it's quite okay, because you can generally load this bag up with at least 2 large pieces of suitcase. And if your mother-in-law, of course, decides to come to your home and stays with you, this is a great car to drop her back in to the airport. Well, so how is the Ford Freestyle to drive? Well, the steering wheel on this car is ultra light. In fact, it's a very softly set up steering wheel, and Ford engineers tell us that this is the kind of steering wheel that a lot of their customers want. This is the customer feedback that they've got. And why is that? Well, simply because customers who buy these cars primarily drive them in the city, and in the city where you have maniacal drivers around you and you have to always find a tight parking spot, this is the kind of steering wheel that buyers will appreciate, because people don't want those heavy feel-some steering wheels. That said, it is a light steering wheel, but even then there is decent feel and pretty good feedback. It's a pretty consistent steering wheel in terms of the feedback that it offers you. So it's light and it's quick to respond to your inputs, and that's the way it is even when you take it out on the highway. So the consistency is there right through. Well, what buyers will also appreciate is the suspension setup on the Freestyle. Now, this car's suspension has been raised up from the regular Figo hatchback, and it can tackle some badly patched up roads, and it can also do that piled off-roading. Of course, we won't be doing that today, because most buyers who buy these cars don't buy them for off-roading. They buy them more for the feel and the look that these cars offer. So that's something that buyers aren't too concerned about. But even then, it's good to know that in case you're ever stuck in the monsoon in Mumbai or even in Delhi and you're driving through a flooded road, this car's ground clearance will take care of most things, and you won't have to worry about hitting those objects which are hidden underwater. Well, what buyers will also appreciate is the suspension setup. It is a suspension which offers you exemplary ride comfort, especially when you're driving it on the highway and doing speeds in excess of 100 kph. And if you're the kind of driver who really does always press the accelerator hard, this car will simply sit on the road and not break a sweat. It's a fantastic car for those long distance trips, and it's a fantastic product for people who drive a lot on the highways. Even in the city, the ride comfort is pretty good. It's only the odd badly patched up road which does enter the cabin once in a while, because remember, the suspension on this car is towards the firmer side. Well, so talking about the new engine, it's a very quiet motor. It is splendid when you rev it hard. There's hardly any noise intrusion or any noise or even vibration which enters the cabin from the engine. So Ford really have done a very good job with the cabin insulation on this car. When you're doing highway speeds, there's hardly any wind noise. There's no wind noise up to 100, 110. There's no tire noise, so it's a nicely isolated cabin. And the engine is ultra responsive to your throttle inputs. It's really a very, very responsive engine, which makes this car a joy to drive in the city. You won't be having to shift gears a lot, because this car's rev range is also pretty big. It develops its power from a relatively low 1500, 1400 RPM and goes all the way to about 4500 RPM, 5000 RPM without breaking a sweat. So it has a large power band as well. If you enjoy cars with the crossover styling and want a car which offers you great driving dynamics as well as a roomy cabin and also affordable spare parts as well as affordability in terms of the buying cost, then the Freestyle really is a very good option for you. You should definitely go ahead and check it out at a Ford dealership near you. We are told that this car will be priced just below the Elite i20, and that means that it will be very good value for money when it's officially launched in a couple of weeks. It's bye for now, and hope to see you soon.